Hello everyone, today obviously I am back with a brand new video. I'm going to do a full cold and dark setup tutorial in the latest version of the Zibo 737. The setup will be based on a flight from Sarasota, Florida over to Houston, Texas. The estimated flight time is around 1 hour and 35 minutes, and it should take us under 20 minutes to complete the full startup procedure. Anyways, before we do hop into the flight deck, I will be using SimBrief to file the operational flight plan. It is free, and if you guys do not already use it, I do have a full tutorial about it down below in the description. Anyways, with that, we can now hop into the cockpit, and the first thing I always do is go into my plugins, and using SAM, I connect the gate to the aircraft, and I will link SAM down below in the description. Anyways, guys, now that we have a gate connecting to the aircraft, we can go ahead and give it some power by connecting the ground power unit, and we can go ahead and set the chocks. With that, we can go ahead and go up to the overhead panel and switch on ground power and go ahead and turn on the battery. Alright guys, now that the plane is powered up, we can go ahead and arm the ember lights, go ahead and turn on the fasten seatbelt signs as well as chimes only. We can go ahead and switch the electrical pumps to the on position, and we can go ahead and turn on the 2 left packs and set those to auto. With that, we can now go ahead and go all the way up to the very top and set these 2 nav, as well as switch this button all the way at the top to HDJ, and a random number should pop up right there. Alright, now that we have completed that step, we can go ahead and turn on the yaw dampers, and I do prefer the panel lights to be on, so I will switch those all the way up to bright, and we can put the dome lights to dim. Anyways, guys, with that, we are now ready to set up the FMC, so let's real quickly go down to the FMC, and to begin with, simply click on FMC, click on position initial, and go ahead and type in your reference airport, and here we are starting out at Sarasota, which is KSR and then Q. Now we can go ahead and select reference airport and put that right in. The gate here today is going to be B10. We're going to simply put that in, and now that we have that, we can go to the next page, select this right here, which is basically our longitude and latitude location, and set this into the IRS position. Anyways, guys, now we can go ahead and select route, and we can go ahead and click on origin for our origin airport, and mine is obviously Sarasota, Florida. Now we are heading over to Houston Hobby, which is KHOU, and we can go ahead and put that into our destination. We are going to be flying United today, which is UAL, and the flight number is 2365. Now the flight number does not really matter, but I do prefer putting in realistic flight numbers because I do like my simulator to be as realistic as it can be. Anyways, guys, now that we have done that, we can go ahead and set our runway, and my takeoff runway here, according to SimBrief, is runway 14. You can simply select that and now go to the preference initial page. Anyways, guys, we can go ahead and click that, and it will randomly pop in right there. Now, the reserves, according to SimBrief, is a 2.68. Now we can round that up to 2.7. Cost index for United, now I'm not exactly sure what it is, but I do believe it is 23. Do not quote me on that, I am not exactly sure. Anyways, the altitude we are going to be flying at today is going to be 31,000 feet. We can go ahead and set that to our cruise altitude and execute that. Now that we have that done, we can go ahead and click on N1 limit. and simply click on SEL, just like that. And now with that, we can go ahead and click on the takeoff page. Flaps are going to be set to 5, and put that in. Just click on that and the trim will pop up, as well as your V1, V rotate, and V2. Now that we have the trim at 4.5, we can go ahead and set that up right now, because that is our takeoff trim. We can go ahead and set that up, and that is just about 4.5. With that, we can go ahead and go back to the FMC and go to departure. And now our runway is obviously runway 14. We can go ahead and select that, and our SID for today is going to be SRKUS2, and our transition is going to be simmer according to SimBrief. Now we can go ahead and click on route, and do not activate that yet. Go ahead and click on departure and arrival. Click on your arrival airport and click on arrival. Now guys, my runway here is going to be 13 right, and I do not want any of the ILSs here. I am just going to take 13 right. It looks like, yes, 13 right. We can go ahead and click on that. Now the star for today is going to be Bay 3, which is right here, and the transition is going to be Lev, which is right here. Now we can go ahead and click on route and activate that, and now we can click on execute. Now guys, with that, we can go ahead and click on legs and clear out all vectors, because we are not using any ATC for this flight. So all we have to do for that is click on the one after the vector, which is Kiz's in my case, and I'm going to click on vector now, and that is now fully cleared out. Now guys, we can go ahead and continue looking. We have a disco, it does look like, and for the same thing as vectors, simply click on the one after and then click on the disco, just like that. And now that that is cleared out, we can go ahead and continue to look at the flight plan here. And yet again, we do in fact have a vector as well as a disco. So first we can go ahead and clear out the too steep of descent, because I am not worried about that. We can go ahead and click on the disco and execute that out, as well as the vector in here, and we can go ahead and click on runway 13 right again and clear out the vector. Now guys, with that, we can go ahead and go all the way up, and in fact go ahead and switch this over to plan to check out the flight plan to make sure it does not have any unreasonable turns or anything bad like that. We can go ahead and set this up to where we can see the little map here as well as the FMC, and simply click on step and look through your whole flight plan to make sure it is reasonable and there are no insane like turns and whatnot. So far I am looking quite good, and we will in fact be doing a little turn here into Houston Hobby. But anyways guys, that is a very reasonable flight plan there, and there are no very unreasonable turns that the plane cannot make. Anyways guys, with that, the FMC configuration is in fact done. Guys, so the next step here is going to be to complete the overhead panel configuration. So to begin with, we can go ahead and turn on the APU, which is located right here. Switches to on, and then hold start down for 1, 2, and 3 seconds. And now guys, this little circle here is going to be going up. It's going to go up to about 8 or so, and then it should drop down to 5.1. This will take a minute, so I will see you guys when it is fully done. Alrighty guys, the APU is now available. So guys, there will be a blue button here in the middle, and we are going to simply click on this and put it down, as well as that. And now the APU is running the plane, and now we do not need a ground power unit at all. Anyways, now we can go ahead and turn on the APU bleed. With that, we can go ahead and turn window heat on. We can go ahead and switch trim air to the on position and switch this here to FWD. Now guys, while we wait for the APU bleed to spew up, we can go ahead and turn the far left APU, not APU, my bad, fuel pump, the very left fuel pump to the on position so we can get some fuel flowing in the plane. Now guys, while we allow the APU bleed to spew up, we can go ahead and turn the auto throttle on. We can arm that, and now you can go ahead and turn the two flight directors to the on position as well. Now guys, we can go ahead and set the altitude all the way up to our cruising altitude, which is 31,000 feet, and the speed, we can just set an initial speed which can be about 220. There you go. And with that guys, now we can go ahead and go back up to the very top and go ahead and start turning on a few lights, such as the logo lights, as well as the anti-collision lights, as well as the position strobe and steady lights. Alrighty guys, we are now just about ready to call the push cart. So here we do not need to locate all the way there. We are in the Zibo 7.3. You can go ahead and go to ground services and go to better pushback guys. Now this is in fact a add-on for X-Plane 11. It is quite nice, and if I do remember, I will link that down below in the description. It is called Better Pushback, and it is a great plugin to have. Anyways, guys, we can push back right to there, and we can
ground to cockpit, plan acknowledged. Call me through the menu when you are ready.
Beautiful, beautiful. We are all ready to go. We can
ground to cockpit, tow is driving up.
Anyways, guys, we can go ahead and locate yet again. Back up here, we can go ahead and switch all of the fuel pumps on. Guys, we have now been instructed to go ahead and release the parking brake, so you can go ahead and do that real quickly.
Starting pushback, and you may start engines.
And now we do have permission to start the engines, so to begin with, set this over to ground right here. Before I almost did forget, we have to set the two packs to the off position. With that, we can locate down here and be ready to add some fuel to the right engine. Alright guys, we have now reached 15. We can go ahead and add fuel to engine number 2. Alrighty guys, now that this engine is fully powered up, we can go ahead and go to the left engine now and switch this to ground once again. And once we do hit 15, we can go ahead and add fuel once again, just like that. Alrighty guys, now that we are approaching the runway, we can go ahead and real quickly stop the plane real quick. We can go ahead and set the auto brake to RTO. We can go ahead and go up here and set our altitude right in here, which is going to be 31,000 feet. With that, guys, we can now go ahead and turn out on our wing lights.
Flight attendant spare for takeoff, please.
Also now, guys, we can go ahead and turn on our runway lights and our landing lights.
Okay, the cabin is secured. Have a good flight.
Okay, guys, we can now turn off the brakes and begin our taxi to the runway once again. Alrighty, guys, right before the runway, you can go ahead and do a stop real quick and make sure that all of these are set to the flight directors are set to the on position, the auto throttle is set, the altitude is set to your altitude, as well as the speed. Set it to 220 or anything below 235 as your initial speed for when you turn on the autopilot. So guys, now that we have made sure that is complete, we can go ahead and add a little power and go ahead and taxi right over to the runway here. Alrighty, guys, once you are lined up with the runway, you can go ahead and put your throttles to 50%, and once it reaches 50%, you can go ahead and toga it. Anyways, stay on the center line here as much as possible. Once you hit 100, set your throttle to neutral, and V1 here has hit, and we can go ahead and rotate. Go ahead and put our gear up because it is positive. Great, and now that we are in the air, we can go ahead
400.
and slowly fly up. Alrighty, guys, and now that we are above 1,000, we can go ahead and set the autopilot here by simply clicking on LNAV, and then all the way here in the top left, we can go ahead and switch that on. And now, guys, we are hooked up to the autopilot, and as you guys see, my speed is going back down to 225, and here we can go ahead and turn the vertical speed on to exactly how we like it. And guys, as you guys see, we are now turning to Houston here. Reached 7,000 feet, approaching 8,000 right here. So guys, we can go ahead and retract our flaps. We can go ahead and lower our vertical speed, bump up our speed here just a bit to about 240. With that, we can go ahead and retract all of our takeoff lights here. We can go ahead and turn off our runway lights as well as the taxi lights. We can also switch off the wing light, the wheel light, and the anti-collision light. With that, guys, we can go ahead and wait until we hit 10,000. Never mind, we have now hit 10,000 feet. We can go ahead and switch off the seatbelt sign. You can also go ahead and simply turn this up to off the auto brake.
Our in-flight entertainment has begun.
That is going to conclude today's tutorial. If this did help you out, go ahead and like the video. If this does hit 20 likes, I will conclude the flight and make a part 2 of the landing. Before I do end this video, please do note that this is my personal checklist and it does not fully resemble what really does happen in the real life flight deck, because I am obviously not using any sort of ATC nor checking and testing everything, because this is obviously a simulator. This checklist, no doubt, is very realistic, but in reality there are a few more safety checks. Anyways, thank you very much for watching today's tutorial, and I hope to see you again in the next one.